All right, everybody, the time has come for the Texas Longhorn football season to begin, and that was right. The Texas Longhorn football team is already underway on the practice field. Now, probably at the time of you watching this, absolutely. Right now, at the time of you recording this, maybe not, but probably so. They're probably getting to work early in the morning. Now, the University of Texas football team has high hopes in 2023, and we're looking to see if they can fulfill them. So today we'll be going over the roster briefly. I don't want to go over every single roster spot, but we're going to give you everybody top to bottom on who should be, contributing for the Texas Longhorn football team this year in 2023. So if you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on any impact players for 2023. All right, so let's hop right into it. And like I said, I'm going to try and be brief with some of these players. Now, I don't want to make this like I'm reading the Texas roster straight from the website to you. But we're going to be going position group by position group. I'm going to give y'all some starters. And then I'm also going to give y'all, hey, these are the guys that do not forget about these names. Because if there's an injury or just if they're making waves in camp or the season, they can get on the field and make an impact. So where better to start than the quarterback position? And obviously the starter, Quinn Ewers. This has been shot down in the summer, spring, Steve Sarkisian, he was very adamant. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback. There's no controversy here. Now, that does not mean we do not have a perfectly capable quarterback in Malik Murphy and even potentially Arch Manning. And then also don't forget about Charles Wright. Chuck Wright back there, okay? Now, obviously Quinn Ewers looking to have a great season. Heisman candidate. There's that's one of the positions that's easiest for Texas fans to talk about or content creators. So I'm not going to really spend too much time on that. You already know a lot. Running backs: Jonathan Brooks, Cedric Baxter, Keelan Robinson, Jaden Blue, and then Savion Red. Now here's the deal. This is going to be there's potentially some portal candidates to watch out of this after the fall camp. That's the reality of the situation. There's a lot of talent, but there's a lot of opportunity to be had. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know that. I'm very high on Jonathan Brooks if you've watched my previous videos, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. Cedric Baxter is certainly a guy. He put on 8 pounds from the spring to the fall camp over the summer conditioning program. So hey, his BMI has gone up. He's got a body that can handle a workload, and the talent is there. It's just a matter of can that talent be realized at the college level. Keelan Robinson, absolute speed demon. There's not much more to say other than the fact that at the college level, speed is so much more important than the NFL level. All right, now the wide receiver position, that's where you really start to have some fun with this and this is where I will talk about. I'll give you one thing about Steve Sarkisian's press conference yesterday. He said that we're going to see probably up to 8 wide receivers. Now, typically his offense mirrors a pro-style offense, so it'll have about six lead receivers. And really, I'd consider a tight end and a running back as one of those guys. But this year, we're going to see 6 to 8 receivers getting, really, in my mind, what is a significant amount of targets. And this list of wide receivers is nice. Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jordan Whittington, Isaiah Nayor, Jonte Cook, Casey Kane, DeAndre Moore, and Ryan Niblett. There's tons of speed in there. Xavier Worthy, Jonte Cook, Ryan Niblett, Isaiah Nayor, and then I believe DeAndre Moore. Burners. Burners. There's some guys that can make you miss. You got Jordan Whittington. He's nice in space. You also got the big bodies, Isaiah Nayor, A.D. Mitchell, Casey Kane. This is a wide receiver room that could have some real fun in the year 2023, especially when you look at the opportunity that's needed to be filled in the running back position. Some of that's going to go to the wide receivers. And especially if Quinn Ewers is having a great year this year, this could be one of the better Texas passing offenses that we've seen in the history of Texas football. Now, I don't want to go as far as to say it could be the best, but, it certainly, at the very least, has a potential. The ceiling is there. 100%. It's a matter of where's the floor. Now, going to the tight end position, because like I said, you want to consider tight ends and running backs in with those pass catchers. Jatavian Sanders is a pass catcher, wide receiver. That's not much, nothing new there. Gunnar Helm, he is certainly a capable tight end. If for whatever reason we need him, hey, he's there and he's good. Juan Davis, he is a slept-on guy. Very athletic tight end. He has put on some weight, so we'll have to see how that athleticism has been affected by the weight. But nevertheless, a guy that if we need him, I'm excited to see him. Now moving on to the offensive line and the final offensive positions. Kelvin Banks, baby. Kelvin Banks, like a lot of these guys, you already know a lot about that. There's nothing new to say there. Hayden Conner, a very good left guard. Jake Majors, center. Let's see how he can do with the center position, if he can lock that down this year. There are some rumblings that, hey, they might try and slide some guys in and see how they do and see if there's a competition that can be had there. I mean, this is the year, the common thing among all roster spots this year. Competition. Tons of it. Cole Hudson at the right guard slot. Right now I'd have him as a starter, but just like Jake Majors, competition is there. Christian Jones came back for his final year to play right tackle for the University of Texas. That was a big get for Texas back in the portal. Or not portal. Well, I mean, you could honestly probably think of it like a portal addition, but at the end of the day, Christian Jones, very similarly to Isaiah Nader, he didn't start football until his junior year in high school. He was playing soccer. So we'll see if that soccer background has helped out with the footwork. I know Alex Dunlap of Orange Bloods, if y'all follow him. Go follow him. Great content from that guy. That's something that he's always been hopeful that will eventually translate, is his background in soccer and how it affects his footwork at the college level. Now, those are just the starting offensive linemen. Some offensive linemen that do not forget these names, because they could absolutely just maybe look like maybe have a Kelvin Banks development or whatever. These are guys that have a ton of potential, and if we have to see them coming through injury or whatever, they could end up being some good players for us in 2023. Cam Williams, massive lineman. DJ Campbell, he's not necessarily massive on the height-wise, but he's a big dude, and he can move bodies in the run game very well. Connor Robertson. Now, this is a guy that has some potential for going at the center position, and he's healthy. As you heard Steve Sarkisian allude to, everybody's healthy this year, so competition's open. Peyton Kirkland, he's a freshman, but whew, the word on the street from people in the know, he has an NFL body day one, and that's something that you heard a lot with Bijan Robinson. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to draw a parallel between him and Bijan Robinson, but what I am going to say is the body is there. It's just a matter of, can the technique be there, especially at the offensive line position. And then Nito Umeozulu. Keep an eye out for those offensive linemen, because if we need to, or maybe not need to, they could end up making an impact for the Texas Longhorns. Now, moving to the defensive side of the football, we're going to start at the defensive tackle position. Byron Murphy, T'Vondre Sweat, they're going to be your poll leaders. I mean, if you're actually in a space with me, and there was a Kieran the other day, if you know him, Care Bear Kieran on Twitter, great Texas content guy, working for Overtime now. He had a great point, and it's true. T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, they outsnapped Moro Ojimo and Keandre Coburn last year. So we are technically getting our defensive tackle snap leaders back. Massive. Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. Alfred Collins is a guy that, I mean, everybody knows this is like the broken record with Alfred Collins. The potential is there. It's just a matter of, can it be realized? Vernon Broughton. that dude. I went to scout Baron Sorrell, and keep an eye out for his every play out coming soon on my Texas Clips channel. Vernon Broughton kept coming off the page. I mean, I literally kept thinking he was Alfred Collins because I see a number that looks like a 9 and then a 5. But a lot of times it's 45. 45 is getting some push, and he's a name that I'm very high on for. I was in that same space I was talking about. I named Vernon Broughton as my breakout candidate for the Texas Longhorn football team in 2023 because I think going into next year, he's going to be a massive name that we're talking about. Excuse me. Now, also Trill Carter and Sydir Mitchell. Don't forget about those guys. Sydir Mitchell, massive body. Trill Carter, these guys, they're going to be able to provide us depth and snaps and really get us through these long games and the long grinds. Now, defensive end. This is probably the most questions that we have in one position group. I mean, you have your given. Baron Sorrell, that's your given. You already know what you got there. That's a good defensive end, good pass rusher. Then you have the unknowns or they've shown us stuff but in limited snaps or against lesser competition. Ethan Burke, Justice Finkley, even Jamon Tapp. Now Jamon Tapp and Justice Finkley, they may not have really shown much last year, but in a Jamon Tapp, you've seen his body get bigger. Justice Finkley, there's a ton of fan hope, fan potential with him, so we'll see how that turns out. Regardless, incredibly smart person on the football field. And then you got your Colton Vasek, who he is a freshman, yes, but he's got the size, and also people have been raving about his technique from the rumblings that have been coming out. And then also you do have freshmen Tausili Akana and Billy Walton, though I would not expect to see much from them in the year 2023. Now, going to the linebackers, you got Jaylan Ford. Jaylan Ford, again, I mean, just followed up a season that is on the level with the likes of Derek Johnson. Yes, I repeated that. I'll repeat that one more time. With Derek Johnson. That's a pretty good linebacker company to put your name up next to. But he's going to be joined with David Benda and then new coming linebacker Anthony Hill. Now, David Benda, this is something that a lot of people forget. And I will never keep mentioning this. Or I will never forget to keep mentioning this because it really, to me, it cannot be overstated enough. David Benda, along with Roschon Johnson, Roschon Johnson gets the praise all the time for switching the running back room. David Benda did that too. He sacrificed a year of his development for the betterment of the football team. That's one, that's selfless. That's exactly what you want from a teammate. Two, hopefully, he was a high recruit. He was a high priority recruit at the linebacker position. So maybe we can really start to see this happen later on in his career and see the talent come out. Anthony Hill, he's going to be going after the quarterback. Just let him do what he does best. Now, I know some of y'all are going to cringe at this name, but Jett Bush and Maurice Blackwell. Jett Bush, yes, I know, okay? It is what it is. But at the end of the day, he's going to give us depth, and he's going to give us some snaps that we're going to need out of the linebacker position. It's going to be interesting to see if he can follow that DeMarvin Overshown path, where he was a safety and then had success in the linebacker position after spinning down. Now, some really young names to look after, to watch, and not forget, book them. Darian Gillette, Samaje Burrell, and Leona Lafau. These are all guys, this linebacker room, it's young, and there are snaps to be had. So, keep an eye out for those guys, 100%. And then, not finally, but almost finally, we have Jahdae Barron, Jalen Gilbo, Ryan Watt. This is easily the best room in the just listen to me say these names out. Jahdae Barron, Jalen Gilbo, Ryan Watts, Terrence Brooks, Malik Muhammad, Gavin Holmes, Jalen Cattle, and Jaron Thompson. There's your starting defensive backs. Go have fun. This is a nice room. Keaton Crawford, Austin Jordan, Xavier Bryce, B.J. Allen, Tarek Williams Jr. There's talent behind them, and then you also shout out to John from Locked On Longhorns.
Keaton Crawford played a lot of minutes. Michael Taft played a lot of minutes. Bless his heart. Jalen.
That clip always cracks me up. And then Jelani McDonald and Warren Robertson. These are guys. Hey, I don't necessarily expect to see them make an impact, but they can if they need to. Now, special teams finally, last but definitely not least. If you remember that, Gerard, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I was working as a car salesman. The only game I got to saw, now you know I was a car salesman. The only game I got to see that year was the Cal game where Gerard Hurd were down by 21 points, and he leads the 20-point comeback, not 21, because a extra point is missed. Special teams are important. Last but not least, okay, Lance St. Louis, deep snapper. That's a recruit. We got a recruit at deep snapper, so hey, he should be really good for us. Will Stone and Burt Auburn are going to be in a kicking competition for not only field goals, but who can kick that ball at the end zone, back of the end zone, and then Ryan Sanborn, punter transfer from Stanford Cardinals. Now, no, not Stanford. The Stanford Cardinal. They're a color, not a bird. Okay, yeah, but so that is your Texas Longhorn roster preview. I know I really didn't want to sound like I'm just reading from the roster list, but it kind of almost sounded like that a little bit as I'm reading it. But it is what it is. I'm really happy for these. There's the common theme with this roster is potential among all position groups. Hope you all have a great day. Hook 'em!